Okay guys, I really want you to hear me out on this. This is something that I think is super important. It's something that I really want to talk about, that's why I'm making this video. I want to talk about mostly because I haven't really heard anybody else talking about this. I believe that this is something God has put on my heart to speak out. And I think it's just really good to be aware of this, whether you're a believer or not. It's just something that's really good to be aware of, and that is this culture of being good. It's something that's so super flying under the radar, and I just really want to kind of bring that to the surface. Just as a quick side note, for everybody that doesn't know, I'm sold out for Jesus, and I just think that's a really important thing that I hope everybody knows about me. But if not, there's that. I put down quite a few notes because there is a lot, and I just wanted to cover everything. I don't want to forget anything, so if this video is a little bit choppy, I apologize. Okay, so anyways, pretty much when anybody has ever asked you, like, hey, how are you doing? Or at least for me, when everyone's asking me, hey, how you doing? I usually respond with hey, I'm good. Even if I'm terrible, I could be so terrible, and someone asks me if I'm good, I'm usually yeah, or yeah, if how I'm doing, I'm usually yeah, I'm pretty good, I guess. We're usually just speaking out of habit. It's just a mindless, just a thoughtless response, oh yeah, I'm good, whatever. When I feel a lot of the times, maybe not all the time, but a lot of the times it's not true. I really think that the enemy was super intentional about creating this culture. I really believe that. It creates these shallow interactions, which in turn creates kind of shallow relationships too, which is a huge bummer. But then it also puts us on this island where if we did need help, no one would really know. And it also creates this culture puts us on this island of we're kind of warring alone now, because we're good or whatever. And I think that's exactly what the enemy wants. He wants us to keep our struggles to ourselves. And I believe that is because it's easier for him to pick us off when we're separated from the pack. When we're separated from our people, when we're not letting people in, when we have up all these walls, when we're good or whatever. The enemy has been so intentional about creating this, I believe, for those reasons. We're so weak on our own. And maybe we're not so weak, but we are weaker than we are when we're with people and our people. And I really think there's a few ways that the enemy has created this culture. One of the major ways is comparison, right? We live in an age where it is so easy to compare ourselves to everybody because everybody's putting everything out there, right? Well, I say everything, but that's not true. I believe that the lives that people live are very different from the lives that they're portraying, and not because of what they're portraying, not because that's not true or anything, but it's just because it's tiny, appealing fraction of their life that they decide to post on social media, right? But we see so and so living up their life, they're happy, they're finding romance, or they're going on adventures or whatever the case may be. We see that and we start comparing, oh my gosh, what? I want that. That looks sick. What am I doing over here, right? So we're living in this generation where it's so easy to compare. I'm gonna just refer back to my notes to get back on track. Why do we not want people to know if we're not doing good? And I believe it's pride. With that being said, it is a very prideful thing to always want people to think that you're good. It's so tied in with this culture. Pride is so tied in with this culture of being good, right? Taking it back to comparison, comparing creates this feeling of dissatisfaction with your life, which is kind of inadvertently communicating to God, hey, I'm not happy with the life you've given me. That's probably the saddest thing I've ever said. Holy smokes. When we are feeling this way, dissatisfaction with our life or whatever, we start wanting other things. Usually the things that we see in other people's lives that whatever have Instagrams look dope, But that creates an environment of envy, right? So we're dealing with pride, 1, envy, 2. I hope you can start seeing now that this culture of being good is a culture of pride and envy, which the Pope, Gregory the First, put on his list of sins that he considered were deadly. Now we're dealing with these two massive sins, right? That we didn't even realize we're dealing with. It's so under the radar and it's crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm actually gonna shoot from the hip. I'm getting rid of this now. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This past, a few weeks or month have been really hard for me. It feels like for every push that I make, I get pulled down twice as hard. And I'm telling you guys this because I say to hell with that culture of I'm good, because I'm not good. You know, I have things that I'm dealing with, and I really believe that some of you, I probably see a lot of you, have things that you're dealing with too, right? But we're keeping it to ourselves because of like this weird culture that we're living in. I feel like I've said culture like a bajillion times, but I want you guys to know that I've been feeling like foggy in my head, right? I've been feeling like I can't think straight, or like I've just like been coasting, and this is a terrible feeling that I have been dealing with for a while, right? And there's things that I'm doing to like combat that, and there are people that I've called to my side fighting this culture. There's people I've called to my side to speak into my life, to champion me, call me higher, push me, things like this, so I can like be healthier, I guess, for a lack of better terms. But it's so important that people know where I'm at. That is so important. Otherwise, we're just on that island warring alone, and that is a place that I don't want to be. I want the season that I'm most on fire for God to always be my current season. And I think the right step in that direction is calling people to your side, letting them know where you're at, fighting against that culture of I'm good, especially when you're not good. And I want you guys to also understand that being good doesn't always look how you think it would, and also being unhealthy or bad doesn't always look how you think it would. So these are some things that have been on my heart, and I just wanted to put out there. I really wanted you guys to hear some of this. I'm sorry that it went so long, but I would say if there is something that you're dealing with, find the right people, and I emphasize right people because there are wrong people to go to with this kind of stuff. Find the right people and call them to your side. You know, like call the people that are going to hold your arms up, right? And I just think that that's a really good step in the right direction of combating this culture, which I think is so under the radar, like damaging. If you want to, you can reach out to me, but I would just say reach out to somebody if you're not good. And that's pretty much all I gotta say.